we've been talking Mullens all season, but that was not a career defining, but it was a big freaking deal for Nick Mullens. A bigger deal than his win over the Raiders. The season was on the line. He was going up against the number one defense in the league. The Niners couldn't block Aaron Donald. He was not going to have a pretty game. He needed to find a way to win ugly. And, I mean, obviously he had a great defensive performance. It wasn't him. But he needed to not lose that game. And there were a lot of ways he could have lost that game. Getting hit by Aaron Donald, he could have fumbled. He could have thrown more picks. The one pick he threw was tipped. Hard to blame him for that one.
That wasn't on him.
It wasn't on him. So my question to you is, what do you think of Nick Mullens now?
I think the same thing I thought about him week one.
Yeah.
Physically gritty. First, let's talk about the positives. Gritty, competitive, cares so much. You can tell how much this means to him. He really wants it. You love that about him. Definitely just a guy you want to root for, right?
Also physically tough. He gets smacked, and he's never missed any time. Gets smacked, dude.
Yeah, but I think he's, to me, another guy where he kind of gets himself. He kind of takes hits.
But that doesn't make him not tough. Fine.
Sure.
He is tough. Yes.
Sure.
And that's a big deal because Jared Goff isn't. And there's a lot of guys making $35 million a year who aren't. So that's important.
But for me, the thing is he's limited physically, and it really shows. And we can talk about the offensive line play a lot, but you know what? Offensive line play is just not good in the NFL. There's two good offensive lines, in my opinion, and maybe three. It's the Indianapolis Colts, and they lost Anthony Costanzo for who knows how long to a knee injury yesterday. There's the New Orleans Saints, who have the first round offensive line, and even they have gotten whipped at times this season, right? Like the Niners defensive line put the thing on the New Orleans Saints offensive line, and then you got the Buffalo Bills, who aren't the best run blocking offensive line, but they're pretty good in pass protection, and they have but the offensive line play, I think because I get to watch a little more of all the NFL games every week just because I don't have a job. I'm a student. So, I'm watching all these teams. The offensive line play is horrible. Justin Herbert's putting up all these numbers. The Chargers' offensive line is every bit as bad, if not much worse, than the 49ers line. It is horrible. It is horrible.
Dude, hold on. Mike McGlinchey, Colton McKivitz, Daniel Brunskill, that triumvirate, it's pretty bad, dude.
Do you know who's on the Chargers line? Because I don't even know it off the top of my head. I just know it's not very.
But I bet you no one's ever heard of Colton McKivitz outside of the Bay Area. I mean, dude. Brunskill's doing okay, but McGlinchey has been so bad. The right guard spot has been so bad. I mean, it's not like they stink, dude. It could be better. You could do better than Colton McKivitz.
Maybe
Colton McKivitz, Tom Compton.
I agree. They could have improved this offensive line.
They really took a step down from Mike Person last year,
right? Somehow. Line play is bad. Even the Chiefs, go watch. I don't know if you got to watch the game yesterday, but I was kind of peeking at that one on my phone while watching the Niners game because there was just a lot of moments where the Niners game was losing my engagement a little bit, and the Chiefs game with all the storylines of the fact that Tyreek Hill was just going bananas in the first quarter.
Well, let's stick with Mullens. I see what you're saying. The thing with Mullens is he can't throw off his back foot. Let's be specific. He can't throw off his back foot. Which means
he struggles to throw it away.
He can't throw the ball. Yeah, he needs to step into his throws. And if he's facing a really good pass rush and he doesn't have great pass protection, he's going to struggle. Even Jimmy Garoppolo, when he's fully healthy and he can rip it, can make throws off his back foot. And I think you need that ability, and you need the ability to run to be a top-level quarterback. No one is looking at Nick Mullens and mistaking him for a top-level quarterback. He definitely has limitations. But the point is, if the Niners are going to have a screen passing game, then he can operate.
Can't turn the ball over, though. That's the problem. He can't turn it over. That's my big problem with him, right?
But he didn't turn the ball over yesterday. I mean, he did, but it wasn't his fault. And
right. He threw three more that could have been picked, but weren't picked. So
which ones?
He threw the one that he didn't. He basically got whacked, and he took a shot to Reed on three.
Reed stopped his route. I'm not going to put that all on Mullens. You got to put that up.
It was a bad.
But that's not. That's a different issue. Whether it's the right read doesn't mean it's his fault or it should have been picked. The wide receiver has to not cut off his route. Can't do that.
Well,
he's running a double move. I mean, he's not a clear out route. He's not a decoy.
To be
You got to
fair,
run your route.
I don't know the exact play, so I don't know if they have if they're in 3 deep, cut the route. I don't know all those details. I don't actually even put that one that much on him. Kyle Shanahan didn't really put it on him after the game much because it's kind of just an opportunity ball. And he took the shot and the guy dropped it, so we got away with it. There was one more to John Johnson, I think, over the middle of the field that he totally missed him. He was backside.
John Johnson made a really nice pass breakup, but he didn't get 2 hands on the ball.
I think he hit him in the chest.
I think he dove across. Anyway.
4 people that he ripped away, but there was one more. But the point is, that's what really worries me. That propensity to turn the ball over a little. That really worries me. Jimmy had this problem, and I think it's expounded with Mullens. And the thing for Mullens is that unfortunately he has less physical gifts than the other guys who get away with these types of things. I do think I think he's fine, right, at the end of the day. I think he did his job yesterday, and he won that game. He was gritty. He was fine, and I think he did his job.
I thought he managed the game really well. I actually, one of the things that I thought was good about his performance is that he didn't really force very many things. He didn't put a bunch of balls in harm's way. He basically managed that game. I mean, he missed Jordan Reed over the middle with a high throw. Okay, people miss passes. That was bad. But really, he had a very mature, safety-first, cautious game, and that's what was required. And what's, I think, promising for the Niners moving forward is if you have Deebo Samuel on the field, you can play that way. You don't really have to take a lot of high-risk throws. You can just give him the freaking ball and let him do his thing.
That 100% agree with Deebo Samuel, most important player on this offense.
Give him the ball. You don't have to make difficult, low percentage throws.
But again, it comes down to that's where it just bothers me. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think my evaluation at the end of the day is exactly what I thought of him before the season, and it's what I've thought of him. He's a competent backup. You went as far as to say that he was the best backup in the NFL yesterday. I heard that for sure. I don't agree with that.
Hold on. Let's just recap what Nick Mullens did yesterday. He was going against the number 1 defense in the league. He didn't have Brandon Ayuk or George Kittle. He had a bottom tier offensive line, and he won on the road. That's a big deal. I don't really care what his numbers are, really. I mean, he won. He had 77 yards through the air. Okay.
I mean, wins aren't really a quarterback stat. I mean, I think we've driven that point home with Jimmy Garoppolo constantly.
When he loses, it's a stat. It's on his record. Losses are a quarterback stat. I mean, you can lose that game. He could have lost that game in any number of ways, and he didn't. He could have. Quarterbacks can lose the game more easily than anyone else.
I mean, but that concept to me is it's like every player has an opportunity to lose at points in every game.
Dude, the quarterback touches the ball every snap. It goes through him every play. The quarterback touches the ball every play. Goes through him every play.
That's not what we do with Jimmy Garoppolo either, right? Like
I gave Jimmy Garoppolo a B for beating the Rams and throwing a bunch of shovel passes and 44 yards through the air. I didn't care that it was basically like quarterbacking made easy, quarterbacking for dummies. They had lost a couple games in a row. They needed that win. He won. I gave him a B. I thought it was the easiest quarterbacking win I'd ever seen. It was still a B. And when I compared what he did compared to what Mullens did on the road, no Kittle, no Ayuk, B+. That's the way I looked at it. I mean, sure, Jimmy Garoppolo had 3 touchdown passes. 2 of them were shovel passes. 1 was George Kittle running 50 yards after the catch. Great, dude. Good job, B. But Nick Mullens, the degree of difficulty was higher.
I didn't give Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm not grading, but I didn't think he played particularly. I think we had a show after that Monday where I think both of us ad nauseum talked about how, at least I did, that he didn't play particularly well. And this win is not, he didn't come back because he just dumped it off to Deebo a bunch of times. So I think I've been pretty consistent there with the fact that I didn't think Jimmy did a lot. And I didn't think, again, like Mullens.
He did enough to win a game they needed to win, which I got credit for. I'm not going to nitpick a guy to death when a guy pulls out a must-win game under difficult circumstances.
I'm not nitpicking, am I? I'm just saying wins aren't directly correlated to the quarterback. They're not.
Well, no, it's a team sport, but it is the win-loss record does go on every quarterback's record. Every quarterback stat sheet, it does.
That is unfortunate. It's an unfortunate reality that's been driven into how football is evaluated. Look at Justin Herbert. His record is not any indication of how good the guy is playing. It's an indication of their coaching, right? It's an indication of their talent around him, but it's not about how good Justin Herbert is.
Again, though, you play to win the game. You don't play to amass a good quarterback rating. Nick Mullens was not going to come away from that game.
He wins that game because Kyle Shanahan is his coach. The same way Jimmy Garoppolo wins a lot of games because Kyle Shanahan is his coach.
Yeah, but CJ Beathard wouldn't have won that game.
Okay,
a lot of quarterbacks would have lost that game.
That doesn't say much. Like, you're comparing him to a quarterback who you don't think should even be in the NFL.
I think you get credit for going on the road and beating a playoff team. That
I agree.
I think you do. I think you do. Agree. You know,
I think but I still think that's not going to change where my evaluation of him is. To me, he's still the same player he was 2 weeks ago.
How many backup quarterbacks could have gone into LA and beaten Aaron Donald in the Rams?
I mean, we'd have to go chart because Matt Moore last year with Andy Reid as his coach beat Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, who went 13-3 and lost in the NFC Championship game.
Yeah, but this was the number one defense in the league. You're facing Aaron Donald, and your team can't block him. How many backup quarterbacks are going to win that game? A lot of backup quarterbacks would lose that game in the first half.
I would have to go back and watch every single game that the Rams played and who was the coach, because there's a lot more context into this. Look, I don't want to rip on Nick Mullens. I really don't. He's solid. He's made a career for himself. That's awesome. He's a guy I definitely want to cheer for. I'm definitely hoping he pulls this out for the 49ers. But the point is that I'm not going to go gaga and change my evaluation of him after this game, and I'm definitely not going to go gaga and change my evaluation of him after the Philly game. To me, it's consistent. He is who he is.
I'm not going gaga over him, but they wouldn't be alive right now without him. They would have no chance to make the playoffs if they didn't have him on his team. If it was just CJ Beathard or any other random backup, they'd be dead right now. And it's good that they have such a backup quarterback, even if Niner fans are a little disappointed because I guess they think I built him up or something. I mean, when he was struggling in the mid-second quarter and Eric Crocker took shots at me, I thought it was real funny because it's like, dude, first of all, it's like, you did this, Grant. It's your fault. You said he was going to be great, and now people are just mad at you. It's like, first of all,
well, I mean, that's
the second quarter.
He's
going to win.
I'll defend you on that. You have nothing to do with what Nick Mullens is or anything. Your job is to give your opinion, and you give your opinion. So that should be way besides the point, right? Like, I don't think there should be anything to it. It's not your fault, you know? Like, I jokingly got on you earlier on this show, like, it's your fault that Jimmy Ward. No, it's not your fault. You give your opinion. It's other people's fault with how they run with it. My thing is, that's not your fault. That's absolutely not your fault. I 100% agree with you there. But my thing is that with oh, crap. I just totally forgot.
See, the thing about Vish that you don't understand is he sleeps about 4 hours a night. This dude's hitting me. He lives in Chicago. He's hitting me up at 11 at night. I'm like, Vish, go to sleep. And then he's up first thing in the morning. So, yeah, it's all right. Sorry. It's okay. It'll come back.
Wait. What were we talking about with Mullens real quick?
How great he is. How he's the best quarterback in the league. How he's going to lead the Niners to the Super Bowl.
What I did want to say is, look at, a lot of it has to do with who your offensive play caller is and everything. Like, you can say that he saved this team, but he's 1-2 right now in the games he has to win. There's still a long way for this team to go. He did his job yesterday. Outstanding. Props to him. But look at the Saints without Drew Brees, right? Teddy B went 5-0 last year, and he beat the Seattle Seahawks on the road, and people still were very measured with their credit. I think Grant Cohn would still say that Nick Mullens is a better backup quarterback than Teddy B. Taysom Hill is doing it right now, and I think that has a lot to do with Sean Payton more than Taysom Hill.
Nick Mullens isn't better than Teddy B.
Is he better than Taysom Hill?
Taysom Hill's a starting quarterback right now.
So is Nick Mullens.
Is he better than Taysom Hill? Is he better than Taysom Hill?
Because I would say no. That's me.
I say he is. I think he's better than Taysom Hill, yeah. Taysom Hill's on a stacked offense. He gets to play with Michael Thomas, Jared Cook, Emmanuel Sanders, Alvin Kamara. Yeah, I mean, Nick Mullens would be pretty good in that offense. He'd be doing it differently, but there's so many short passes in that. That's a really good offensive line, too. Yeah, he'd be better.
Do you think Raheem Mostert's a top 10 running back?
Yeah, but again, he hasn't had Kittle. He hasn't had Ayuk. I mean, he just got Debo back yesterday. He had to play a game with River Craycraft. He had a game where his number one receiver was Richie James Jr.
Right after that game, right?
I mean, he really hasn't had the whole complementary weapons that Jimmy Garoppolo had most of last season. But anyway,
I mean, yeah, but Garoppolo also didn't have his 2 tackles and stuff. I don't even want to compare him to Garoppolo because I don't think that should be the conversation, right? We're trying to evaluate what Nick Mullens did. And for me personally, I thought he did an excellent job yesterday. I'm so happy he pulled that out. He's gritty, he's tough, he's a competitor. Definitely cheer for the guy. Like, he's the guy you root for. But I didn't change my opinion of him because of what happened yesterday. That's just me.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's easy to have like an ironclad opinion of a guy who's had like 10 career starts, unless he's lost all of them but one, like CJ Beathard. I think we're learning about Nick Mullens every time he plays. And that was like the most pressure he's ever been in. I mean, he was under a lot of pressure against Philly. It was week 4. If he lost this game, the season's over. It was a must-win game in the truest sense of it being a must-win game, and he won it, period.
I'll push back. Like, you wrote off Beathard, right? Do you think Mullens would have survived going through what Beathard went through in 2017?
Yes.
You talked about getting hit
yesterday.
Beathard was getting hit 10 times more. Who was on that offensive line? Eric Magnuson was starting.
He's better than CJ Beathard. He's beaten Russell Wilson. He's beaten Jared Goff. He's beaten good teams, dude. CJ Beathard stinks. I'm sorry. Guys, I'm not going to let anyone come on my show and say that CJ Beathard is anything but bad. That's the one rule I have on my show. I'm not
sitting here saying CJ Beathard is a good quarterback. But what I'm saying is that you're giving Mullens nuance that you didn't provide for Beathard.
Dude, CJ just loses. He's never done anything good. He beat the Giants once. No. CJ should not be in the league. Nick Mullens beat Russell Wilson in 2018. That's amazing. Now he's beaten Jared Goff. He's had big wins on his resume. He's a legit NFL player. He's accomplished things. CJ hasn't. I'm sorry. CJ almost beat the Green Bay Packers one time at Lambeau. That's the greatest accomplishment of his career. They almost beat the Chargers one time. CJ. No, he's a better ping pong player than football player. CJ.
Well, I don't know all those things, so I'm not going to say those things about CJ. My point is what he had to go through in 2017 was brutal. The amount of hits he took, I felt horrible for the guy. I really did.
Hey, what every quarterback's going through this season has been brutal too. Jimmy Garoppolo didn't last 5 quarters.
I don't think it's even a comparison to what they had to go through in 20.
I think it's a comparison. Jimmy Garoppolo couldn't survive behind this line. He made it 5 games to the 2017 line. He was fine. This year, quarter number 5 out. So it's comparable, or it might be. It's arguable.